Good morning once again, and welcome to the first batch of CMA at OneFin by IndigoLearn. I'm Suraj. I'm a qualified chartered accountant with All India ranks in CA. I'm also a CIMA UK qualified, and I have 7 years of work experience, and I have over 8 years of teaching experience. I have taught students across CA, CMA, CPA, ACCA. Right, so that has been the broad spectrum. And along with me, I have Yogesh. Yogesh is a CMA US qualified, and he has also been teaching students across CA, ACCA, and CMA. So, with the combined experience of what I have taught and what Yogesh has taught over the last 5, 6 years, we would be able to guide you better, and we would be able to take you through the CMA examination. So today, the first session would be more about the overall overview of how we will approach the course, the program, and how we should prepare, what are the things we should keep in mind, and how we should practice and all of that. Right? But before we do that, would like to have a quick introduction of of each of you, of each of the students. You can just briefly talk about who you are, and what are you doing, and why are you pursuing CMA US. Okay, so starting with Satyanarayanan. So if you can just briefly introduce yourself. That's
Yeah,
what.
good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning and good morning everyone. So, yeah, I'm Satyanarayanan. You can call me Satya. I'm based in Chennai. So currently I'm working at Shell India Markets Private Limited, which is an integrated oil and gas company. And I have around approximately 20 years of working experience in the field of finance and accounting. And so I'm a semi-qualified CMA India, and also very recently I have completed my diploma in IFRS ACCA.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so CMA US, and also I have registered for. I mean, I have enrolled for US CPA last year. So yeah, just to get a good job and also gain some more knowledge in the finance thing.
So, sir, you said that, because with the name I could not recognize, sorry for that. You said that you have over, I think, 15 years of work experience, if I heard it right.
Sorry, sir, can you please repeat?
Uh, you have over, so how many years of experience you have currently, overall, if I ask you on your career, in the entire career?
Yeah, precisely 19 years.
19 years. And it's very interesting to see after 19 years also, what brings you to, continue your learning journey?
So there are many things to learn, sir, always. So, and we should keep on continue our learning journey, and it should never stop. So that's my intention. I mean, it's just a small thought.
Okay, thanks. I think that gives a perspective to others, who have just started their career, and who want to take it further. Good to see, even after being in working profession, and then continuing your learning. That's nice. Shiva, if you can quickly introduce yourself.
Good morning, guys. My name is Shiva Subramaniam. You can call me Shiva. I'm based from Chennai. I'm in my final year of CA articleship. I'm a CA final student. My attempt is due November 24. So also because I've terminated my articleship from Chennai to Salem. There's not much to learn here. The work is pretty routine, and I thought to myself, why not do something even more professional? I thought I could take up the job and do something for myself. I've always wanted to be recognized globally and not only in the Indian subcontinent. And I figured that USCMA would be a very good opportunity for me to be recognized as a global finance professional. Yeah, so I just wanted to start early. Yeah, so
Good. So, someone before the career, someone is starting due. So I pursued my CIMA UK as I was working. Okay, coming to Yogender, we can quickly introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yogen Parmar. I am from Indore, Madhya Pradesh. I am commerce graduate and I have 3 years of experience in a BPO field. So now I feel stuck, and so I just want to achieve some professional knowledge and skills to start a new career in a finance. So that is why I am pursuing for USC.
So yeah, very nice perspective. Thanks for the quick introduction. Yogesh, if you can introduce yourself as well, you can turn on the video. So Yogesh, some around 7, 8 years back, he was my student, and then he qualified CMA USA, and then since then he has been teaching. So why don't you introduce yourself, Yogesh?
Hello everyone. So myself Yogesh KNS and I'm a qualified CMA USA. I'm also a student of Sir Surat sir, and I'm in this teaching field from past 4 to 5 years, and I'm teaching CMA USA from past 2 to 3 years. And welcome to the global recognized course, and I'm happy to invite you all to the course. And it's a very interesting and very challenging course. Hope you'll enjoy it.
Thank you, Yogesh. Right, Sudha, if you can also briefly introduce. She has been the entire backbone to set things up and talk to students, talk to institute, and all of that. Sudha, you're there? I think.
Suraj.
Yeah.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sudha. I've been with OneFin last 5 years, and we've been trying to be part of the student journey and a professional's journey from the inception till they're placed, and with our forums even after becoming professional. So sorry, my video was off. So we are here with the US CMA program. Like, I think all those who have enrolled know how good it's going to be. So we are glad to be part of your journey, and we are here whatever time and whatever is your doubt or query to be part of your whole program. Please let us know in case of any hurdles so that we can assist you and clear those hurdles as early as possible so that the program is convenient for you. All the best, and looking forward to be with the whole journey.
Yeah. So thanks all the students for the introduction, and I hope Satya sir and Shiva, you would have received your books. Yogender, I think the enrollment happened yesterday, so the books will be dispatched. I think it was dispatched yesterday, if I'm not wrong. You'll be
Yes,
getting.
yes, it has been dispatched.
Yeah, so you'll be getting the books in a couple of days, and I hope you already have got the access to GLIM, the online portal, the codes for that. You can start using it. Right. So myself and Yogesh, we would be taking both part 1 and part 2. So part 1, few sections I will be taking. Few of them Yogesh should be taking, and as we move further, we'll let you know based on the convenience of students how much how we would schedule the classes and all of that. Now, before we actually start the classes, I would like to share some specific things about USCMA. These documents we would be again sharing with you separately as well. So now, as far as the syllabus is concerned, so what I'm showing you on the screen, let me just come to the first screen. Okay, so these are called, so what we call syllabus, right? So the way it is defined, or the way it is given by IMA, is learning outcome statements. That is, after you complete a particular part and a particular section, what are you expected to know and understand? Okay, that is the first thing. Then you have the content specification outlines, right? Now, content specification outline is basically the overall content that would be covered as you prepare for the examination. So just to give you a perspective.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Sudha ma'am,
Yes.
Can you please share the meeting ID and the passcode, because I'm unable to join from my laptop, because currently I have logged in using my mobile.
Okay. I'm just sharing it with you on the group.
Yes,
do I need to pause or can I continue?
Yeah, you continue, sir. Please.
Yeah. So one is the content specification overview. That is, what are the various contents, and once you complete a particular part or a particular section, what are you expected to learn? Okay, this is a detailed outline which is given, and the preparation of whatever we prepare for CMA, both part 1 and part 2, would be based on this learning outcome statements. So what is the objective? I would say outcome is finally what we should be able to understand and what we would be learning. Right now, coming to the content specification, we would have already gone through it, but still, in part 1 we have 6 components or 6 sections, what we call. Just a second. We have 6 sections, and in part 2 we have again 6 sections, and in part 1 we have financial reporting decisions, that is more to do with your preparation and presentation of financial statements, your assets, the liabilities, how to recognize, when to recognize, and all of that. Now, one very important thing for us to understand here is we would be following US GAAP, and US GAAP is very different from what we understand as a part of Indian GAAP or the Indies even if you have learned, or even for IFRS for that matter, right? So there is a lot of difference. So I want, or I suggest each one of you to unlearn whatever you have learned and look at it with a fresh mind. It could be a simple thing like a depreciation calculation. There are newer methods which are used in US GAAP, which may not have learned earlier. Or if I talk about inventory, now in the IFRS or in the Indies or even in the accounting standards, LIFO method is not followed, but US GAAP permits the application of LIFO method also. So these are some differences. So we know the concepts, but the way we will apply for US GAAP purpose would be different. So that is the first part. Then we are planning, budgeting, and forecasting. That is more to do with how do we plan, how do we do the budgeting, and forecasting elements of the management part. Then the performance management, how do we evaluate performance, cost management, internal controls to do something with the audit part, and then technology and analytics part. So these are the 6 components, and here you can see these are all level C. Now what are these levels? So if you go back, there are 3 levels of coverage. There are 3 levels of coverage for examination: level A, level B, level C. Level A is basically you need to have knowledge and you need to have understanding. Comprehension means you must be able to understand, like calculation of depreciation. This requires knowledge and comprehension. Level B requires knowledge, comprehension, application, and analysis. So not only you should know how to calculate, you must be able to apply and analyze the relevant concept. And the level C, which is tested in the CMA examinations, is you need to have knowledge. Of course, without knowledge, you will not be able to, calculate or evaluate something. You must be able to comprehend. You must be able to apply and analyze the concept. You must be able to evaluate, and you must be able to synthesize. Now, what is synthesis? Basically bringing different components together and analyzing them in a combined manner, right? So a lot of it would be covering as a part of level C. Now, what happens is when we are tested for level C, we may be tested only for level A or level B or level C. So all of these will have level A, B, and C. So not only knowing formula, applying the formula in a given scenario, drawing conclusions, giving recommendations, all of that will be covered as a part of your testing. Now, it's a 4 hours examination with 100 MCQs and 2 essay questions. One very important thing for us to remember is if you score 50%, if you're able to get 50% in the MCQs or the objective type questions, the essay window would open. And after that, you would be able to attempt the essay question. Now, because this is a computer-based examination, and for essay type questions, you need to type. The English must be decent. I'm not saying you need to have PhD in English, but you must have a decent English and a very good typing speed. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is, for example, if you take 1 hour for essay questions, you have 30 minutes per question. If in those 30 minutes, if you take 15 minutes to understand the question, you have 15 minutes to respond. Now, if your typing speed is double, you can write twice the content. So that is where typing is important. And this has been my advice for all the students who are taking computer-based examination to start typing practice. I know you would be doing decent, 30-35 words per minute is very good. But if possible, practice typing and improve your typing speed, because you may have a lot of information in your mind. If you're not able to write it when at the time of examination, it may be challenging. Then part 2 talks about strategic financial management. Here it will be more about financial statement analysis, corporate finance, the investment decision, where to invest, how much to invest, where to source money from, risk management, and professional ethics. Here also it is a level C testing, right? Then I will not go through details of all of this because these anyways we will be covering as a part of the regular classes. Just to give you an overview, let us say we start with external financial reporting decisions. So here you must be able to understand or prepare financial statements, balance sheets, income statement, statements of changes in equity, and all of those things, and recognition, measurement, and valuation criteria of these aspects. Similarly, planning, budgeting, and forecasting, the strategic planning, the concepts related to budgeting, and all of them. Right. So, like this, what you are expected to learn is given in content content specification. So once you complete a chapter, you should ask yourself, have I learned all of this? Similarly, here, have I learned all of this? For example, identifying the uses of financial statement. What is the purpose of financial statement? And please remember, these are not theory questions to be tested. This is for you to understand, okay, can I, for example, understand a balance sheet, an income statement, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows? Can I prepare them? Right. So what I suggest is, as we prepare for a particular section, please have this with you. I will be sharing these in the group. Please have this with you and go through them a couple of times so that you understand what we are actually going to learn. Right. So that is the broader overview. Now, today we will be starting with external financial reporting decisions. Okay. So that is what we would be covering as to what are we learning in section A of part 1. Any questions before we begin?
So can we take like running notes, like how we normally do? Are we supposed to?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Should
I
we
think there
take
is
like running notes?
some disturbance, so I would suggest if you can type in the question, it would be easy. There's some background disturbance. If you can type in, it would be easy for. Yeah, you can take running notes. We would also be using Excel or something on the screen subsequently, which will be available to you. And once you complete the topic, you can go back to your books and see whether we have covered everything or not, or is there something which is left over. Okay, so that can be done. We will be giving you some extra material like the class note, whatever you'll be writing, that would also be available to you. So if you have anything specific to note, you can note them down. And one very important thing here, it is more about being able to understand the concept and attempting the MCQ, right? So once you are able to do that, once you're able to understand the concept and once you're able to attempt a particular MCQ, that would be more than sufficient for you for the examination purpose. Okay. So now one more thing, my assumption is that all of us know how to journalize entries, how to pass ledgers, posting, how to prepare trial balance, P&L and balance sheet. So I will not be getting into details of that. If any of you is like, sir, we want a quick recap or revision of basics of accounting, please reach out to us in the group. We will give you resources, videos where you can understand how to journalize transactions and how to pass entries and how to post them in the ledgers. So we will be starting with the reporting, financial reporting part, right? So let me just share the screen. I hope you are able to see my screen, the Excel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, a quick recap. I will not be teaching you how to pass journal entries and all of that. A quick recap of the overall financial reporting process. Okay. So what happens is, whenever we say financial reporting process, the one thing that comes to our mind is transactions, right? So you have transactions. These transactions are journalized, or they are passed in the primary books of entries. Then these journalized transactions are posted to ledgers. From the ledgers, we prepare trial balance. From the trial balance, if at all there are any errors and all, we pass the closing entries. That is, pass depreciation, this and all of that. So this can actually follow. You first prepare one set of trial balance, pass the closing entries, then you have the final trial balance. From this, you prepare the financial statements. Right. Once you prepare the financial statements, if at all, during audit anything comes up, you would change up. And then this completes your broader part of your accounting cycle. Now, please remember, in a professional course, what you learn is more from the point of view of preparing financial statements and passing closing entries and all of this. The large focus would be on this part rather than passing journal entries and posting in the ledger statements. In fact, today, as of today, the technology has become so advanced that if you scan a particular product in a supermarket, the journal entry, the ledger posting, the inventory calculation, everything is done. So there is very limited work to be done in the transactions and entry part of it, where technology has taken over. That is why if someone is not pursuing a professional course and have just, let's say, done graduation or post graduation, the scope will be limited to this aspect only. If you have to move to the other part where you prepare the financial statements, where you present the financial statements, that is where the professional courses come into the picture. So our focus will not be, see, when we learn, we may be expected to pass journal entries, but our focus would more be at what value should we recognize a particular item, how should be assets valued, how should be liabilities be valued. Those would be the primary area of focus, then passing journal entries, or then maybe, let's say, preparing a bank reconciliation statement. So in fact, when I was working with Bharat Petroleum, bank reconciliation statements would used to happen automatically. Now, when I say automatically, bank used to send statement, SAP used to read the statement, match the items and say, okay, this is the bank reconciliation statement. So you are not expected to prepare a bank reconciliation statement manually. That is where the role of accountants has gone more towards controlling and management function than recording or bookkeeping. Okay, what we call this as bookkeeping. This part has been going down considerably, and more now the focus is shifting to the reporting part. And if you have to grow your career in finance, you must be able to understand what are the reporting parts of of the entire finance and accounting process. Now, all of you would have gone through this journal, ledger, TV, financial statements. Can you tell me? You can type it in the chat box. The components, or when I say financial statements, what comes to your mind? When I say financial statements, what all statements come to your mind, or what do you think are included as a part of financial statements?
Yes, sir. So yeah, balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, notes to the accounts, statements of changes in equity. So these are all the primary financial statements.
Yeah. So when we talk about financial statements, what we would be understanding when we say financial statements, you have balance sheet. That gives us the position of assets and liabilities. This is also called as statement of financial position. Okay. That is the first part. Then after the balance sheet, we have the next component, which is the income statement, which is also called the P&L. Now, we have to be careful when we use the terms, especially for exam point of view. The term we would be using is income statement and not profit and loss. We may use them interchangeably, but we will be using the term income statement. Okay. So you have the balance sheet, you have the income statement. Income statement talks about the performance. What is the profit? What is the loss? What is the income? What is the expenses? It talks about the performance, right? So balance sheet, the position, income statement, the performance. Performance of what? What is the revenue? What is the operations and all of that. So here you have income and expenses. Okay, that is the second part of it. Then the third component of financial statement, when we look at especially US GAAP, Ind AS or IFRS, is something called as statement of changes in equity. We call it SOCE or SOCIE. Now, this may be something which is new to some of you who have been hearing this term for the first time. Statement of changes in equity. Now, what is equity? You would have heard of the term equity, right? What do you understand when somebody says equity? You can type in, if you know, that would be helpful so that we can avoid any background disturbance. When somebody says equity, what comes to your mind?
The residual portion.
Residual portion or owner's component.
The owner's component, yeah. Assets minus liability.
Yeah. So if you look at the balance sheet in a T format, you have assets, you have liabilities. Liabilities means what you have to pay to outsiders. Whatever is remained belongs to the owners. This is called as owner's interest, net asset, or we also call it equity. Now, please remember, statement of changes in equity when we refer, we are not referring to equity shares only. We are referring to the owners. For the owners, what is the changes in equity? So now, what does this have? This basically has what is the opening balance, what is the movement during the period, and what is the closing balance. Now, just to give you a perspective, when I say equity, you have share capital, then you have additional paid in capital. Now, this additional paid in capital is nothing but your
Securities premium.
premium. Okay, so additional paid in capital, share capital, your reserves, or what we call retained earnings. All of these are components of equity. When I say statement of changes in equity, I'm saying what was the opening balance, what is the movement during the period, and what is the closing balance. Basically, your capital account. If I put it very simply, capital account in a statement format. So, balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in equity, then we have statement of cash flow. All of these come from your financial reporting or from your books of accounts. Okay, balance sheet, income statement, and statement of changes in equity and statement of cash flows. Okay. Apart from this, we also present, in some cases, apart from the income statement, we also have statement of other comprehensive income. Now, this for now, I will not be getting into too much of detail because you need to understand what is other comprehensive income. Only then you will be able to understand statement of other comprehensive income. Okay. So that is another component which would be given. And then you have the notes to accounts or explanatory notes to financial statement. So all of these make up your financial statement. So now something which is additional to you, which you would have not seen in the accounting standards, is statement of other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity. Okay, these are the two new things which we have understood, and we'll understand how do we prepare each one of these when it comes to your financial statements. I will just share with you one financial statement for us to understand as to how do we see these. Okay, so this is the Amazon financial statements what I have pulled up. Here we can look at the financial statements. See, you have auditor's report, independent auditor's report, then statement of cash flows, statement of operations, that's one more statement, statement of comprehensive income, state balance sheet, stockholders equity, and notes to consolidated financial statement. Now, what does that mean? Let us just look at those statements. This is a cash flow. We will be having a separate discussion on how to prepare the cash flows. Then, consolidated statement of operations is how they are presented. This is basically your income statement, sales, expenses. Okay, all of these. Then, comprehensive income. So I told you, right? Apart from your income statement, this is your statement, income statement. Now, in the income statement, you present what is your income, the profit. IFRS, in fact, Ind AS and also US GAAP, they require that some of the items should not be presented in the income statement, but they should be presented in other comprehensive income. Now, what is the meaning of this, or what is an example of this? Say, for example, if there is a foreign investment, and in that, or a foreign branch, in the foreign branch, there is, let's say, a branch in the head office is in India, the branch office is in the US, and when you convert the financial statements of the US branch to the home currency or the presentation currency, reporting currency, there would be some foreign exchange differences. Now, in some specific cases, those foreign exchange differences should not be recognized in P&L, but it should be recognized in the other comprehensive income. Similarly, if there are financial assets which are classified as, the gain or loss to be recognized through other comprehensive income, that should go to other comprehensive income. Similarly, there are some pensions related liabilities, movement and all of that. Those gain or loss are recognized in other comprehensive income. Okay, we are not expected to go into detail of each of these, but there are some components which will be captured in other comprehensive income. Like you can see, foreign currency translation adjustment, other comprehensive income. Then reclassification adjustment, then change in the gain or loss on available for sale securities. All of these put together is recognized in other comprehensive income. So the difference you need to understand is, here you have your income statement where you say, this is my net income after tax, this is my earnings per share, basic, diluted and all of that, right? And these are those items which are not a part of my income statement, but these are my income, these are my gains and these are my losses, but I will not show it as a part of net income. I will show it as a part of other comprehensive income or comprehensive income, right? Then you have the balance sheet. One very important change for all of you who have only done the accounting standards or accounting standards related financial statement is that we present equity and liabilities first, assets subsequently. But when you're preparing financial statements as per US GAAP or IFRS or Ind AS, you will first present assets and then you will present the equity and liabilities. Now, IFRS versus US GAAP, and the US GAAP first you have assets, you can have current assets, PPA and all of this, and then liabilities and then stockholders equity. So we'll not use the term shareholders, we will use the term stockholders. Equity means not equity shares. Equity means not equity shares. Equity means ownership interest. We will use the term stockholders and not shareholders. And the equity shares, what we normally call or what we normally refer to in India, we will refer to them as common stock. And preference shares will refer to them as preferred stock. Okay. See, because it is the first time you are hearing, some of these things may you feel, oh, these are very new stuff and all of that. As we do few chapters, as we do few concepts, all of these aspects will be absolutely clear. Okay, so that is there. Then the statement of stock changes in stockholders equity. So here you can see opening balance, common stock, additional paid in capital. This is your securities premium account, other comprehensive income, retained earnings. So this is the opening balance. Then during the year, what is the movement? For example, if there is net income, I think $10,073. Yeah, $10,073. Income will increase my retained earnings. So that is the part which will improve my retained earnings. So I'll add it to the retained earnings. So like this, you will prepare a statement saying, this is my opening balance of share capital, securities premium, retained earnings, and all of those things. What is the movement? Addition and deletion, increase and decrease, and what is my closing balance? One thing, you are not expected to prepare such a elaborate financial statement. I'm just giving this for your reference purpose. Then you have notes to the financial statements where you talk about what is the business, what is the accounting policies and related aspects. Okay. Now coming back to our discussion, the main part of it. Financial statements, when we say, comprises of balance sheet, income statement, statement of comprehensive income, changes in equity, cash flow, and notes to financial statements. Okay, these are the components of financial statements that we must be aware of. Now, as we move ahead in the particular in the chapter, we will be covering various items of balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in equity, and all of those aspects. Any questions so far? Is my speed okay? Do you want me to increase the speed, reduce the speed? Please let. Am I fast, slow, okay, not okay?
Yeah, for me, okay, sir.
At any point of time, if you have any question, you can type. See, if I am in a flow, you can type it in the chat box. I will attend it once I see the chat box so that I can clarify a doubt then and there. Okay, so that will ensure that you are actually in the flow and you are in sync with whatever we are learning. Now, coming back to our learning outcome statement. So what are we expected to learn as a part of financial statement? So for the balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in equity, cash flow, we should be able to identify the users of this financial statement and their needs. So we'll talk about who are the users of the financial statement. Then what is the purpose and use of each statement? Income, balance sheet, equity, cash flow. What is the use? What are the major components? What are the limitations? How various transactions affects the financial statement, relationship, and understanding of how to prepare the financial statement. Okay, so these are the learning outcome statements that we would be targeting when we talk about financial statements. Now, as far as users and all are concerned, we will come to it slightly later. Okay, first we will understand how to prepare, and then we will see the users, the advantages and the limitations. That will be done subsequent. Now, a broad format of income statement is what I will be giving to you. There could be variations, plus or minus, increasing, increase in some items and reduction in some items and all of that. All of that would be there. So that is not a problem at all. Okay. So this is for reference purpose. Okay. If you are able to understand, and you would not be required to prepare a financial statement, but you must know what is the format of the financial statement, right? So first one we have is sales revenue. We'll have some item of sales revenue. Then from sales revenue, you will reduce the cost of goods sold. Okay. This cost of goods sold, you will have references in other sections also. One important thing you can keep in mind and note it somewhere is COGS is opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock broadly. Okay, this is the broader formula which you would be using to calculate the cost of goods sold. So sales revenue minus cost of goods sold will give you the gross profit. We'll have some gross profit here. Sales revenue minus cost. From the gross profit, you will reduce operating expenses. Now, these operating expenses are other than the cost of goods sold. Sorry, there is some disturbance just a moment. Operating expenses are other than see, when I say cost of goods sold, this indicates the value of goods sold. Okay. Then you reduce the operating expenses, which are normally your selling expenses, general administrative expenses. Okay. And then you can have other expenses also if there are any other expenses. So this number would be reduction. Operating expenses. So here you have the total of other operating expenses. Gross profit minus other operating expenses is called operating income. This is also referred to as EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, income before interest and tax. So you can use it either ways. So the gross profit minus expenses will give you operating income. From the operating income, you will reduce interest expense, and there could be interest income also. Okay, so there will be other operating non-operating income also, less interest expense and other non-operating income. You do the adjustment. Then what you get is called the income before income taxes, or what we call as earnings before taxes or profit before taxes. From this, you will reduce taxes. And then what you get is income after, or you can just call it net income. Okay, so this is one format which you can keep in mind to understand, or when you see a financial statement. For example, I just showed you this in Amazon's annual report. So if you go back to the income statement and see, there can be variations also. Okay, there can be slight variations here and there, so that is okay, perfectly fine. So here if you see sales, then under operating expenses, they have put cost of sales, technology, marketing, administrative, other operating expenses and income, total operating expenses, operating income, interest expense, total non-operating income, income before income taxes, income tax and net income. Okay, so that is the broad structure. Sorry. So that is the broad structure of the income statement. Once you look at a couple of questions, you will be well versed with the way in which you have to prepare the income statement. Any question? It's still basics only, so we have not yet reached the bigger picture. But any questions so far? Okay. No questions. Great. Now, what we will be doing is subsequently we would be looking at each of the components of income statement. Similarly, we have the balance sheet. Now, in the balance sheet, you have first the assets and then the liabilities and stockholders equity. Under assets, you have current assets and non-current assets. Under liabilities, again, you have current liabilities, non-current liabilities, and equity. So all of these components also we would be having a look at and understanding how each component is valued, how each component is worked out, and what are the impacts, what is the accounting US GAAP prescribed, and all of that. Right. So that is as far as your understanding of the balance sheet is concerned. Then we have statement of changes in equity. Now, as far as the statement of changes in equity is concerned, statement of changes in equity is basically for various components like your common stock, retained earnings, your additional paid in capital. Additional paid in capital is securities premium. The reason why I'm repeating again and again is you must get used to these terms. APIC, additional paid in capital. So what you'll have, opening balance plus or minus changes during the period, and then closing balance. Now, what could be the changes during the period? We issued new shares, it will increase my common stock. We earned some income, it will increase my retained earnings. We paid dividends, it will reduce my retained earnings. We issued common stock at a premium, it will increase my additional paid in capital. So like this, we have different components. We will say, okay, this is the owner's equity, this was the opening component, or these are the breakup of opening components, these are the movements during the period, and this is the closing balance. And then we have the statement of cash flow, where we'll understand how do we prepare and present the cash flow, right? So this is the broad overview of the financial statements that we would be looking. So by the time we finish the financial reporting decisions, this part of it, the financial statement part of it, we must be able to prepare, and please remember, preparation would not be, so they would not require us to actually prepare the financial statements, but we must be able to understand, okay, these items are related to the balance sheet and income statement. Then subsequently what we will do is, in the next chapter, we will see, okay, in the balance sheet, we have assets. How do we value the assets? How do we value inventory, property, plant and equipment, and all of this? Then we have liabilities. How do we value liabilities? How do we take care of equity transaction? How do we recognize revenue? How do we measure income? So all of those things we would be understanding in the subsequent chapters. Right. So I think today it will be too short a time to start a new topic because it was more of a framework. I gave you a perspective of how financial statements are prepared and all of this. From the next class onwards, okay, I just want to understand from each one of you your appropriate time, available time at which you can attend. Like, is weekdays fine? And if weekdays is fine, what is the time for the weekday? and for weekends what would be the timing, so that what we can do is we can prepare a comprehensive schedule and we can share it with you.
Yeah, for me, always morning hours, sir. Either be it weekdays or weekends, morning time. Because weekends, afternoon and evening, I'm fully occupied with other preparatory courses. So that's what, even when I spoke to Sudha madam or someone from the Indigo Learn, I clearly mentioned morning hours, maybe
Yes.
9 to 1 or 9 to 2, also fine for me.
No,
Because
so-
my office timing is afternoon 2 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
So what is the cutoff? Okay, so fine. Shiva also says morning times are fine with you. Yogender, what is your preference for timings? Yogender, are you there? I think. Okay, so for both of you, after 11 on weekdays also after 11 is what you mean. Will it be possible like 10 to 11 or okay, we will get in touch with you. I'll get in touch with you separately, and then we'll prepare a schedule, and myself and Yogesh will be taking the classes. We'll be doing 2 sections at a time, and so that we cover up the entire syllabus. My ask from each one of you is, whatever we teach in the class, please go back, revise the claim material that you have, practice. We'll solve some MCQs in the class, we'll solve some questions in the class. You also solve those questions back while practicing claim online and all that. See, it has to be a continuous process. Okay, it has to be a continuous process, because what happens is a student, generally what I've seen especially in the professional courses, they will feel till the time the teacher is teaching, the faculty is teaching, everything is simple. This we know, that we know, and suddenly at the time of examination, everything becomes in Greek and Latin. So that is what you have to do. We will let you know, after each class, okay, this is the topic covered, and then you have to go back, access your software, online, take your books, prepare, revise, and if you have any doubt, post them in our forums, and we'll be more than happy to address them. We'll let you know some specific MCQs to be solved on your own, and all of that, some additional work to be done, kind of a homework kind of thing. But we need more discipline and dedication from your side. See, it is not a graduation course, or it's not a college course where I will be behind each student saying, "Arey, you have not submitted this, you have not submitted that." That has to come from you. Only then you become a professional, right? So that is the only ask from my side. Whatever is completed, please finish it and revise it, and that will be more than sufficient. You of course will have, and one more thing, just because we are giving recorded backups doesn't mean that you should miss the live classes. This I have seen with a lot of students in professional courses, that, oh yes, there is a recorded backup, no, let me miss this class, and then 2-3 days you don't watch the classes, you are gone, because you lose track of it. And one another warning I would say, don't think that you are learning one subject or 2 subjects. That is, part 1 is one subject and part 2 is another subject. Don't think it that way, because please remember, part 1 has 6 subjects, part 2 also has 6 subjects. I know the depth is lesser. If you do, let us say, if you're doing a CA qualification, or if you're doing any other professional qualification, each one may be a 100-mark paper and the content is widespread. But here also, you have to learn all of those. It is not that you have to learn in detail or very much in depth, but you must be aware of everything. So these are the 6 subjects, that is how you have to treat them. Don't think that, oh, it is a 300 marks paper, or 400 mark 500 mark paper, and it's only one paper and we'll be able to do it. These are 6 subjects compressed into one part. That is very, very essential for you to understand. Thanks for joining in and taking time out. We will we'll post a schedule, and then we will have regular classes. And if you have any issues in accessing the claim material, or if you have not received the books and all, please get in touch with the team and they will help you out. Thanks a lot once again.
So do we have class today? Sorry, do we have class tomorrow?
So tomorrow we'll not have. By tomorrow we'll try to finalize appropriate timing for all, because there are a couple of other students also who have shown their interest to join in. Okay. So by considering them, then we'll prepare the batch, and then we will start the classes.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.